tomorrow too.
Good morning, Bears fans. How are you doing? It's a football Sunday. We have the day off because we're on Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. But until then, we're going to talk some football. We're going to talk about last week's Bears game and some other goings-ons. Of course, we got Woody with us this morning. Good morning, Woody.
Morning.
Dan, glad to see you. We got the technical glitches done.
Morning.
And
no, I'm supposed to say, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to say good afternoon. I'm on the real coast. I'm sorry. Good afternoon.
Oh, my God. And we got Bear Down Mike in the comments saying there's lots to talk about, and they are. And let me blow myself up for a minute. If you can see my tagline, because I'm going to have my Dennis Green moment and say, they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Because that's exactly what happened last Sunday. Because when I look at Woody's tagline, play the full 60 minutes, goddamn right. They didn't, and we let them off the hook. But then I'm going to do something rare here. Hold on to yourselves. Green Bay, great fucking job on Thursday, on Thanksgiving, finishing what the Bears couldn't do and then finally exposing the Lions for what we already knew they were, a fraud, a team whose defense has a lot of issues. Their offense is explosive. We know that. Our coaches don't seem to know that, but we as fans know it. And Green Bay not only shut that offense down a little bit better than we did, but they played the full 60 and exposed that defense for what they were. So a lot to go on, and then we got some football to talk about for Monday night. So Woody, let me throw it over to you. What do you think about last Sunday's game and then Thursday?
Oh, boy. Like I said, you got to play the full 60 minutes. I was happy. 4 turnovers. Both of our linebackers had interceptions. We got to golf. Sweat had his first sack. I mean, it looks like we were rolling. And soon as that fourth quarter came around, first of all, Eddie Jackson, thanks for leaving J-Mo Williams wide open in the end zone. That's why we love you back there. But I'm going to put this out there because, like I said, I've been ripping on him all year, Jalen Johnson. If he would have intercepted that ball at the 1-yard line, that would have been a pick six. That could have changed that game around a lot more than what it was. But the fourth quarter, the play calling, 3rd and 9, you're throwing a bomb. When Detroit had 1 timeout left, we could have punted. We could have ran the ball. Might have got a first down. We weren't, besides Justin Fields rushing for 104 yards, we didn't rush for shit. They could have used their last timeout. We could have pinned them down there, and then it might have made it a little bit tougher. But that prevent defense when we're trying to cover teams to, close a game out. It's just terrible. We outplayed them. I'm thinking. Like I said, we exposed, their offense. We were all over them, interceptions here and there, but got to play the full 60 minutes, and we got screwed.
Yeah, Dan, Woody touched on it, but I mean, I don't get this. Like, you're doing A for the whole game, and it works, and you're beating them, and you're dominating them. And then you got 5 minutes left, and you say, well, we're not going to do A anymore. We're going to shift to B. I mean, I know you had to be losing your mind.
I was definitely going crazy over here. And that, the one thing that took the dagger in my heart was seeing David Montgomery getting that touchdown that took the lead. That and yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
unbelievable.
I mean, you know what though? In one way, look at when Mike and I were on the draft show with the Lions guys and that, we said when we were talking about Montgomery, we told him straight up, "You're getting a very good running back. Happy for Monty, he got paid. They got a good player. I wasn't surprised that he got a score. I mean, Monty's Monty, right? But what killed me was, the play before that should have been an interception. The 5 minutes left in the game, you go to a prevent offense or defense, and then you go to run offensive plays that you go away from what you've been doing offensively all game because you think, oh, 5 minutes left, we got this in the bag. But you're playing one of the most explosive offenses in the league. I mean, so Mike, I don't get it. I mean, Green Bay learned from us, right? We saw that Thursday. They learned from our mistake.
Well,
But
I was about to say exactly like the Lions have problems and issues with mobile quarterbacks. Justin Fields hasn't rushed for under 100 yards in, I believe, 2 years. He got 104 last week.
Mm-hmm.
And to add for Thursday, Green Bay won for doing the same thing. They basically Fields can run all over him. We're going to make some designed run plays for the quarterback, and it worked great for them. You know what I mean?
I want to clear this up too. That last fumble on Fields, please don't blame him.
I don't blame him.
We got Darnell right for a reason. Okay, he was in that pocket for 2 seconds and Aiden Hutchinson hit him already.
But
that
whole game.
Everybody was blaming
Fields. Players were playing good, and then all of a sudden, like you said, the coaching and play calling changed. 100%. They should have just kept going with what worked for the first 3.5 quarters, not just
Woody, finish that thought because I was about to say something, and you're tracking that. Finish that thought about Darnell Wright, man.
Darnell Wright. We got him for a reason to block his blind side, and he, like I said, Fields was in that pocket for 2 seconds and Aiden Hutchinson hit him. So, and everybody's there's Fields with his great fourth quarter fumble that we thought he would always have. Listen, that was not his fault. Please stop blaming Fields. Everybody's looking to blame Fields so we can get that quarterback in the draft next year. We're not getting a quarterback in the draft. It was a fuck up by Darnell Wright at the most crucial moment. Don't blame Fields on that. It's not his fault.
You know what, Woody, conversely, Darnell Wright kept Hutchinson quiet 98% of the game. It took Hutchinson till the very end to finally break through. And look I gave the Lions guys credit the other day on their show in the morning show last Monday. I said, look, you guys still had to execute the end, and you did. And he had to get past Darnell Wright at the end, and he finally did. So give Hutchinson the credit, right? He executed when he needed to. He finally broke through. Give the Lions offense credit. They had to execute those plays at the end of the game, and they did, and they won. But Darnell Wright has done a phenomenal job all season, and I agree with you, Woody. That strip fumble from the blind side is not Fields' fault. Armchair quarterbacks who watch from a 300 miles away and they're lazy boys can always say, well, the camera angle shows from 50 feet in the air is a lot different than ground level in the game. So, and all these idiots out there talking how we're drafting a quarterback, how Fields is trash. I love these idiots, and I see them posting in Bears groups, and we're talking to diehard Bears fans groups and stuff like that. I don't even think these guys are Bears fans. They don't know shit about football.
Wright's been playing real good just the last couple weeks. He's had a couple too many penalties, in my view. Other than that, he's been playing very good.
And another thing is that the Bears should play like the Lions did on defense. You see how Branch was in that backfield. He was playing. He was rushing. He was in so many plays on against Detroit. Against us. He had a hell of a game. Hell of a game, Brian Branch.
Well, on the other side, too, Stevenson had a real good game, too. Yeah. He had no passing yards. He had a shutdown.
Dan, I mean, I'm looking at the game on Sunday. I'm looking at the last couple games. I know we hot topic the last couple of weeks has been Matt Eberflus, right? But looking at these last couple of games and the way the defense, the progression it's making overall, the progression of players individually, the progression of the defense as a unit, and the progression of the offense in certain aspects, do you think Eberflus is safe for next season given that?
Maybe. I mean,
I don't.
not sure, but excuse me, maybe.
Yeah,
I bring this up because what we're talking about, this all is looking to, this is all dealing with what's going to happen for next season, obviously. And we all see the 1,001 articles that say Eberflus is fired, the Bears are drafting a quarterback. I came across one yesterday that said, here are the reasons why Eberflus doesn't lose his job. And it's a lot of stuff that I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, but I wanted to see what you guys felt on it because the defense. First of all, let's start here. Does anyone here think Ryan Poles is in danger of losing his job?
No, I think that was ridiculous. I posted it the other day that Warren was thinking about getting rid of Poles, Eberflus, and bringing in his own guys. I was like, Poles did a phenomenal job. You cannot let him go. There's no way.
So, and I think, and going along with that logic, Woody, I think that's why Eberflus is going to stay. And I think even actually, believe it or not, Getsy, who everyone here knows I'm not the biggest fan of, might stay because you know what? He did game plan Detroit very well overall. At the end of the game, yeah, he shit the bed. He did. But Poles talks a lot like Theo Epstein talked like when he came to the Cubs, right? There's a plan. It's a multi-year plan. Give it time. And I think from Poles' vantage point is, can we say that there's been? Well, let's start here. Let's walk the dog. Can we say that from game one to now, this team has improved by leaps and bounds?
Yeah, I've seen improvement.
The defense for sure, right? We were ranked last in everything last year. Now we're the number one run defense. We're kind of climbing the charts there overall. I'm not sure what we are overall in defense, but I know we're the number one run defense.
We're fourth in rush defense giving up. We're number one in yards per rush given up.
There we go. That's it. And obviously adding Sweat, we've seen more pressures. We got sacks on one of the best lines in the NFL, and we put up some sacks last week. So if we can agree on that, then I think that kind of saves Eberflus. Now, offensively, while I still have my issues with Getsy. Dan, what do you think about his game plan starting the game for the first three quarters?
All right. I mean, first three quarters, but in that fourth quarter, just yeah. Shake my head.
That play call on 3rd and 9. You got to rush that. You got to run the ball and pin them with no timeouts left. You can't give them a timeout and try to throw a bomb to Tyler Scott. That's double teamed.
Yeah.
So that might have been a little mess up on Fields.
So no, I think that was more of a mess up on Scott because Scott hesitated. You saw him stutter step to slow up. I think if he didn't slow up, he catches it. That's one of those play calls, though, man. You complete it, you're a genius.
Yep.
Right? So I can't blame Getsy for taking the shot. And what I would complain about were those 2 run plays prior. Because why just run the ball up the gut? Like, do some play action, move the pocket, let Fields go with it. I thought would have been a better call than what he did. But even Getsy's improved over the last several weeks, and the offense has improved. I think for me, Getsy, I still like to see him gone, but I can see how Poles can make the argument to keep him now. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I think he still has to go.
And I know we're trying to bring Bear Down Mike on. I think he's trying to get on, and Mike, our Mike, the original Mike, there we go. he's trying to get him on. So, there you go. So, Mike, what do you think about this whole Getsy Eberflus situation?
I'm not a big fan of Eberflus. I'm really not. I think we could have somebody better. Poles, I think he's doing a great job. I don't think he's going to get fired. I think they're going to give him a shot. You know what I mean? We've been through so many different changes within the last 10 years, 15. It's kind of crazy. It's just every 3-4 years we're starting all over.
Well, as I bring Bear Down Mike onto the stage and welcome Bear Down Mike, who's becoming a regular. Morning, Mike. I posted a thing the other day about the quarterbacks and the OCs. And, every quarterback, Jay Cutler had a different – out of all the quarterbacks, Jay Cutler is the only one who had the same OC for more than one season at any given point in his time in Chicago. And that happened for – out of his 9 years, he had 7 OCs. If you look at Trubisky, he had – in his 4 years, I think he had 3, and Fields had 3 OCs. So – I don't think it's all the quarterback's fault in Chicago, and I don't think anyone here thinks we're getting rid of Fields. I think the OC is a problem. At the same time, maybe we need to break that trend because, Jay Cutler had Mike Martz for 2 years. That was a mistake. Mike Martz a 7-step drop or nothing. But I think Getsy isn't Martz, so I think that's why maybe I'd give Getsy another year, even though I can't stand the dude. What do you think there, Mike? And welcome to the show.
I think they're both gone. I still think they're gone. They had time to develop. They're playing to lose. They play too conservative. The defense did get better, but you let a team that you were up by 12 points come back into the game. 48-0 with 3+ turnovers, and you're the first one to do it, you got to go. You can't not finish a game. We saw this with Denver. We saw this in New Orleans. Like, you got to go.
Yeah, and I think that you make a valid point, but I think when he's looking at progression, how the team's improved, and he'll look at all the stats except the win and loss, and he'll use that as a justification to at least keep Eberflus. And Eberflus, I can make more justification because of how the defense has improved, and that's directly because of him. Offensively, I think is what could possibly get him, if anything. And then the lack of W's. And like you said, Mike, because they lost games at the end, they couldn't finish. And that brings us into Monday's game. Let's talk about Monday's game really quick before we get to kickoff for everyone else in the league today, because I know people are going to want to watch some games. We got Minnesota Monday. So Minnesota, I think, is a team that we can definitely beat Monday with our defense. Because I don't know if you guys watched Minnesota the other day, but Dobbs throws up some balls that you're like, I think the dude's more luck than he is skill in some ways, because some of the balls he throws up, I know if he did that in Chicago, we'd be trying to kill him right now.
Yeah, I think Justin Jefferson's back.
He's out.
He's out for Monday. Is that because I just heard something different?
I've seen questionable.
Yesterday he was out.
All right, we're fucked. There's my answer. We're in the same situation as we were at home. Justin Fields did get hurt that first half. So we're playing at Minnesota. They have a lot of momentum, even though about last week. They have a lot of momentum. They're at home. They're playing division game. I just to be honest, to look ahead, I see the Bears winning 2 more games the rest of the season. That's it.
Well, Dan, I mean, watching the game Sunday, I think Justin looked a lot better than he looked pre-injury. So do you think that this new look Fields, because I think he learned a few things while he was on the sideline watching Badgett. So in a way, it might have been not only good because he got healthy, but good because it let him reset his game. Do you share Woody's optimism about Monday night?
I don't think we're going to win the game.
No.
Well, you guys see, actually, you guys said that last week too, and we had all the chances in the world to win, and we just blew it up. So I think it can go either way, personally. I think it's going to be a good game, just like the last game with Detroit. And without
the way, like I said, I wasn't too happy with Jalen Johnson, and because of that missed pick 6, and Eddie Jackson with that wide open touchdown he gave up to J-Mo. We got to stop Addison.
Yeah, but
I'm more
touchdown was
embarrassed by
What's that?
I'm more concerned about Eddie Jackson. At least Jalen Johnson made a play.
But he should have caught it.
He should have had that pick. He should have had that pick six.
But Eddie Jackson was supposed to cover J-Mo, and he didn't. That's on him.
It's easy to nitpick one individual play, but even on that J-Mo touchdown, that was a scheme opening more than him missing it because it was a zone. And
there's no way he should be that wide open in the back.
Well, I think that's because we fucked up the play call.
Well,
they were in a zone. It should have been man to man.
It's whatever. They're going to blame the players and stuff like that. But
I know they're going to blame the player, but because you're blaming him right now for that pass.
Absolutely.
I don't think it was his fault. I think the problem is Eberflus called a zone defense when we should have been in man to man.
He plays conservative.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, he played very conservative, and he left. And it was on a look at. We dropped a pick six. I mean but we see that all the time in the NFL. I mean, did it suck 'cause it was at a crucial time? Yes, but look at these guys. Wide receivers drop balls all the time. Corners and safeties and everyone else drop possible interceptions all the time. I get it. It was late in the game. It doesn't mean we need to jettison these guys because they played phenomenal football for almost the entire game. And it's easy for us to nitpick the one thing. We think, one play they should have done better. I mean, if Johnson or Bojack had screwed up 15 plays, I'd get us being mad at them. But they kept us in that game and made some great plays throughout the entire game.
I think Eddie Jackson's done.
Yeah,
I'm with
injuries, and this supposed to be his breakout year. We ain't seen nothing.
I think you might be right at Eddie Jackson. Because of the injury aspect, but also it depends on how we draft. I don't think we have to make a decision. We're not going to make a decision on him before the draft. So I think it depends on what we see in the draft or what we see by maybe making some deals. I think he's a 50-50 call whether he's back or not. I think it depends on what's in the draft because he's still better than a lot of what's out there. And money-wise, it's one of those, he's not going to, his contract, Mike, let me see. This is the final
year. He's got 1 year.
Yeah.
What now?
He's got one more year.
Yeah. So, I mean, Eddie Jackson knows he's not going to get a big payday because of his injury issues. So it might be one of those situations where he's going to be he might get a 1 year prove it deal out of polls to stay, or maybe take a discount. So, I mean, I wouldn't write him off yet. Would I like to see him stay in a Bears uniform? I would, because it's not just field, but locker room presence and veteran presence that he brings with this team. But I agree. But I think he's a 50-50 call at this point. I wouldn't write him off yet.
I think Brisker's becoming more of a leader in that defensive.
Gordon's been picking it up too.
Gordon's
fifth. He's fifth in the league in slot cornerback rating.
Yep. No, I agree with that, but I think that's what I'm saying. I think Jackson's still a 50-50 call because there's other intangibles and with the market and the draft. And it's the same with Cody Whitehair. Lori asks, is this the last season for Cody Whitehair? The dude has done a lot for Chicago. He's a great utility lineman for us. He hasn't really ever been healthy. He's always been healthy, but he's always been banged up. I think him taking a week off might have just been, hey, after 8 years, take a break, young man. And I don't think he's, the money is not as much of an issue on Whitehair. I think he's a solid rotational guy for us.
Yeah. If you're going to keep him as a rotational player.
Yeah, I think that'd be the plan, right? Woody, would you like to see Whitehair stay for depth?
For depth, yeah. He's been in the system for a little bit. He knows our system. And our luck, like Mustafa, he'll go somewhere else and be a fucking superstar.
Yeah.
Mustafa is a free agent now. He will be at the end of the season.
Yeah. He only got that 1 year deal.
Hey, Dan, you want to go sign Mustafa for next year?
Oh no. Yeah, we might as well go get. Hey, we might as well go get Charles Leno Jr. back too.
Oh God, no.
What is
Speedball?
it getting closer to kick off for the other teams? There's A-Dub that wants to join us before we pop him on. We finally reached the 10K. Look tomorrow night at 4 p.m. on my page, Mike the Bear Fan. There's going to be 2 posts. Only 100 people per post is qualified to win the autograph giveaways, and we will be giving that away next Sunday on the show.
There we go. Without further ado, let me bring him on. There's A-Dub. A-Dub, your Green Bay Packers finishing off our unfinished business that we had Sunday. And if you didn't hear me at the beginning of the show, I'll redo it. They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Lucky for us, Green Bay didn't. What do you got to say about your exposing of the Detroit Lions on Thursday?
Like Tom Grossi would say, praise the moon. Because once again, the waxing gibbous state caught up to the Lions on that Thanksgiving Day. And why I bring that up? Because, fun fact, the Lions have never won a Thanksgiving game when the moon which reaches a certain phase, which is the waxing gibbous phase.
What, 2017 phase?
Yeah,
Pretty
7
much.
in a row phase.
Right.
I think the Bears gave your Packers the blueprint. Now your Packers, they followed the Bears blueprint a lot in that game. But as a Packers fan, where do you see your team right now?
Where I see them currently, the progression and the development that I've been wanting to see all year is finally showing itself. Like Jordan Love's finally getting the chemistry down with his young receivers. This defense finally playing up to par, despite despite the injuries that we had. Like this team was basically depleted before we even played the Lions. Like we had up to 17 or more guys on that injury list, 4 being our top starters. There's out there.
Well, I mean, we know Bakhtiari's gone.
It seemed like A-Dub. I watched the whole game on Thanksgiving. It seemed like every throw Jordan Love threw, a Packer was there and he made a catch. I don't care if he was just throwing it up. It was a planned throw, a good throw. It just seems like every throw he threw, he caught. Was he like 23 or 31 or something like that?
22 or 32.
Yeah, amazing. That's an amazing stat, especially at a loud stadium like that and going against a division rival.
Mm-hmm. As one would say, the chemistry and the connection that Jordan Love needs to have with these receivers is finally coming together. I mean, that was self-evident from our win against the Chargers, and we wanted to keep that going and carry this into the next game. But plenty did had to go right for us to win. Like another thing I looked at was, could Matt LaFleur match Dan Campbell in terms of being aggressive with his play calling and coaching of this team? And that was very helpful, especially when it came to how many times we stopped them on 4th downs that Campbell went for.
Well, that was dumb that he went for that fake punt at their own 20. But it seemed like the Lions couldn't stop Rashard Gary either.
Yep. And to think this was the very same stadium where he had that nasty ACL injury, and he came back with a vengeance for us.
So, A-Dub, looking forward, I'm sure you'll watch the game on Monday because it's the only game on Monday. What's your feelings on the Bears Vikings on Monday Night Football this week?
To be honest, when it comes to what our chances are looking like now, like this team has legitimate hope that they can turn their season around and run the table and make the playoffs. Our hope right now is that the Bears win.
Yeah.
Because we need the Vikings to lose just to better our chances to get into playoffs.
No, A-Dub, we don't help Green Bay out. That's just the rule we have now.
I know y'all don't help us out, but this is one game. But this is just one game where I hope you guys win.
Yeah, and Detroit's gonna be rooting for us too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a couple teams in the NFC that will be cheering for us for various reasons. one, we get a win, we move up the draft board, right? So the higher our pick goes a little higher. Two, it helps. Yeah, the Vikings are in the playoff race for sure. So if we can knock them off, that can help a team like Green Bay, who is gotten a little hot lately, right? They've won a couple games and think that they might be able to make a run. It helps some of these teams out who are on that bubble. So I think there are some teams definitely pulling for the Bears. It's funny though because I think a lot of the Woody alluded to the haters about the fumble, but a lot of people though also have been going, hey, if you look at at Justin Fields, his last couple games pre-injury and even the Lions game, his QBR is up there. He's putting up some stuff, and they're starting to get the chemistry going. What I liked about the game, I didn't like that Moore didn't touch the ball more. However, I did like that he spread the ball out a lot, and it wasn't the people we normally would think. Komet, I only think, had a catch. Maybe he had one.
Yeah, he had 2 or 3.
But the ball was going all over the place, and progressions were all over. He was doing his progressions. So I think the Bears, even if we lose, as long as I see another step forward, the offense progressing or the defense progressing or both progressing in some fashion, I'll take that as a moral victory, if you will, or as a step. I'd like to see the Bears win Monday as a Bears fan. I think it's possible because Dobbs throws up some balls. If you get some pressure on him,
and he's a mobile quarterback.
You're like,
yeah, he's a mobile quarterback too. So, and I would like to see Tyler Scott stop fumbling.
Yeah,
I like Scott. I wish he would just be more confident in himself because that play on the line is the one that basically we all question why you throw it. If he makes that catch, it's game over. And like I said, if you rewatch that play, he did a stutter step and kind of slowed up for a second and sped back up. Then he was inches short. If he didn't do that, I think he would have made that catch, and it's a different story.
Ken, I understand totally what you're saying, but when you're winning, right, and Detroit has one timeout,
I get you.
You do not throw a bomb. Do not throw a bomb.
I agree with you. Look, I think that's one of those plays like I said earlier. If he made that catch, you're a fucking genius. Unfortunately for you, he didn't, and now you're a dumbass.
That was dumb.
Well, Ken, as you once said that we took a page from your playbook to win against Detroit, I'd say the Bears, y'all can always take a page from the Broncos playbook on how to beat Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because I felt like the Broncos might have exposed a way to get past that blitzing defense from Brian Flores that Minnesota used in that game against Denver. Even though the Broncos had to settle for field goals, the Broncos did find a way to move the ball despite all the pressure Minnesota put on them.
Minnesota's impressive, though. Hey, listen, we all voted for Minnesota to finish last in this division because we thought because of their defense and stuff like that. They're 4-1 without JJ, with a mediocre Madison running game. That's impressive. Your number one player out, and you have a 4-1 record with a quarterback you just picked up.
I gave him props myself, literally just a couple of days ago.
I mean, you got to give him props, but at the same time, Dobbs threw some balls up. Like Al Sertan didn't have that interception. The Broncos dropped some balls they should have caught because Dobbs throws up some balls when he gets under pressure that no quarterback in this division should throw up. I mean, right? Put it this way, I think they've got the worst quarterback in the division right now because of how he acts when he's under pressure. He puts balls in the air that he has no blind balls. He just until Dobbs corrects that, he can be a very huge liability for the Vikings. And we saw it in the Denver game. We've seen it in a couple since he's on almost every game he's played with them. He puts up 3-4 times a game when he's under pressure balls that could be game enders. And he's gotten lucky for the most part that they haven't been turnovers. He's gotten lucky. So, and the Packers, well, we got Dub. I think you guys have. I mean, look, Bakhtiari's what pretty much gone. I like Zach Tom. He's a good old lineman for you guys. We wanted to draft him a couple years ago. My problem for you guys have the youngest team in the league, which bodes well for you for the future. As far as the playoffs this year, I think my issue for you guys is going to be your running game, and that is without your two stud running backs, can you make a push? And the problem I think you're having right now is can you keep them healthy?
Right. A lot of guys on our team have been hurt over the time of this season. Like our top corner, our top linebacker was out for this game against Detroit, and we were even missing our top tight end and top running back.
So, do you think for Green Bay? Because we talked a little bit about Eberflus and Poles. What about your GM and head coach? Do you think they're safe for next year?
He should be. Much of LaFleur's time as a coach here and now, it had strongly depended on what we were going to get out of Jordan Love this year. If Jordan Love progressed in the right direction, he pretty much would save Matt LaFleur's job at the most.
And probably Gutekunst too, right?
Yep, Gutekunst too.
Well, gents, we're running low over, but lucky for me, my son just texted. They haven't even taken off from O'Hare yet, so I got some few extra minutes. He's in Chicago trying to fly out from the holidays. Let's go around the horn real quick and do some score predictions for Monday night. A-Dub is our guest. I'll start with you. Bears, Vikings, Monday Night Football. What is your score prediction?
I give it 24-17 in favor of Chicago. I'm thinking the Bears should, after what the Bears seen from Minnesota in the first game, and if they're any different from that game, the Bears should have the Vikings number to get them this game.
Dan, how about you?
2017 Bears.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to go to Bear Down Mike so Woody can't say people are copying off him. So Bear Down Mike, what's your call?
I think it's going to be 24-27 Vikings win.
And the other Mike squared.
I'm going to go with 24-20 Bears.
All right, Woody.
21-16 Minnesota.
I'm going to go 28. No, check that. 31. 24 Bears.
Well, you must be down in the standings.
I am. I am, but here's the thing. Every time I score low, that ends up being a high-scoring game. When I score high, it's low. So, I don't know. It's this Bears team's a little bit hard because, they'll come out like they did in the Lions and put up a lot of points. None of us thought they'd put up those points on the Lions. They did. The problem with this Bears team calling games, predicting games is they've got a lot better. It just hold on. This is the best one yet.
Bears 100.
Good. I like that take, Lori. Look at this. Our team's improving. I mean, I think everyone sees it. I think there's a team that can definitely beat the line. We can beat any team in this league right now. I think on any given Sunday.
Holy Jesus Christ!
We can. We've shown that we can. We've got the players. The problem is can we complete a game? So what I'm saying there, Woody, is we've shown the potential that we can beat any team in this league. The problem is can we finish? The potential's there. One of these days we're going to break through, and maybe it's this week against the Vikings. We're going to get that breakthrough moment at some point. I mean, the talent's there. And look at Green Bay. I don't know. Maybe Green Bay had their breakthrough moment, right? I mean, we've all given Jordan Love a lot of crap. I mean, is he is he all that yet? No, but he's progressed a lot, and that team has progressed a lot. They're a lot better than we gave them credit for at the beginning of the year.
Listen, I picked them to be 7-10 this year.
And what are they now?
What? 3-8?
I got the under on that.
Yeah. So I gave the Bears a little bit more credit because I thought, team gelling, better defense, play calling it still sucks, and we're at 3 wins, the same as last year, and I only see us winning probably 2 more games this year, probably Arizona and maybe Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's another one of those quandary teams. I don't know. I think I would hope. Well, let's fast forward. We're in a war week, and we got a little bit of time here. A-Dub, let's fast forward to week 18. The current state of our two teams. I'm not going to ask for prediction. I'm not going to ask who you think would win, but I'll ask this. Do you think week 18, if it were to be played today, would be a much better game to watch than week 1 was as far as competitiveness?
I say it will be. Because from my perspective, it's like the Bears should be trending in the right direction right about now, just like Green Bay is. And considering where these teams are going from this point going forward, that game's going to be very intriguing to watch, especially for Green Bay. If we're supposed to be still in the hunt, we'll be playing hard in this game just as much as every other that's coming up.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, I'm seeing. You look at the way this is shaping up and the way they did the scheduling, and I called this at the beginning of the year. The Bears could be playoff wreckers. We could help wreck Vikings playoff hopes some this week, and we can definitely possibly wreck Green Bay's in week 18, and we can do damage to the Lions trying to get the number 1 seed after the bye. So when you look forward, to week 18 and these divisional games, what are your thoughts on that right now?
That's what I think of that.
I don't think we have a chance in hell stopping anybody.
Mm-mm.
Honestly, the defense is too conservative. We have great times when we make great plays, but we end up fumbling in the end, because we don't know how to close out games. That's our coaching. We're too conservative. It's just bad.
Okay, so let's build on that. My other Mike the Bear fan. We know the players are there, right? The personnel is there. If we can take what Mike just said and the coaching staff can fix itself, and as Woody says, play the whole 60, coach the whole 60, do you see this team wrecking some playoff dreams here in these last 3 divisional games?
Of course, because last week, I think it was all there, like you said, except for coaching and play calling. You know what I mean? At the end, it just totally switched. So if they get a game plan and roll with it and not change it, we could for sure.
Yeah, I see Brandon's comment here. He says Justin looking good, but can't clutch a game. Well, I don't know.
Not him.
Yeah.
My God.
Who wants to take that one?
That's not on Justin.
No, that fumble was not on Justin. That fumble was on Darnell Wright. Missing. Oh my God, I just can't handle it no more. I really.
Well,
can't.
It's not just that, but let's go to the series before that. Justin put up. Look, we all said the bomb was a bad idea, but Justin put up a very good ball that was catchable for Scott to hit. It was, he didn't make the play call to hand the ball off and try to run up the gut of Detroit like that. They took the ball out of his hands, and he had played, which I thought was a mistake. So I don't think, Brandon, you could say that Fields didn't clutch the Lions game. But, well, let's go to a Packers fan. We know how the Packers hate on Fields. Dub, would you agree with what Brandon said?
What was that?
A-Dub, would you agree with Brandon's comment about Fields not being able to clutch a game, especially like when you look back at the Detroit game?
My perspective on Fields is that he could. He's not. I'm not gonna say he can clutch it, but like you guys say, it does come down to the play calling from your coach. That has been an issue for you throughout this season. I personally felt like Justin Fields had what it took to where he could win games for you guys, but he's never in the best position to do so.
Yeah, that's a good take, though. I mean, and that says a lot, though, too, because look, we know how Packer fans have loved to drub on Fields over the last year or so, kind of like how we have love, and that's a fair assessment. And let's just hope that Monday night we see another step in the progression. I know for the Packers, they want to see that because obviously we helped their playoff bid. And look, I don't mind if the Packers make the playoffs. That's just going to push their draft pick back a bit, and that's I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, we don't normally care much about where our draft pick is at times anyway, so that wouldn't mean much to us. Like, sure, we want to have a good draft pick to work with, but we never think too much about a high draft pick to where we're gonna throw a season away to keep it.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't say they wanted to try a tank, but Woody, I need you to brace yourself for 1 second.
All right.
Be prepared, gentlemen. Be prepared because I'm about to throw something up that's going to make Woody turn as red as Woody the Woodpecker behind him.
Oh my God.
Brandon, I bring you Woody.
Dude, seriously. Fields kept us in that game the whole game. Okay? That sack or that fumble with Aiden Hutchinson was not his fault. He only had 2 to 3 seconds to even get the ball from the snap. Aiden Hutchinson hit him. And I mean, that's why we got Darnell Wright in the draft to block that blind side. I don't know why people are blaming Fields for it. Fields, if it wasn't for Fields with his designs runs, his phenomenal throw to DJ Moore for the touchdown, it wouldn't even be a game. And our defense, linebackers, our defensive line got in. Eddie Jackson fucked up. Jalen Johnson fucked up too as well. But you can't blame Fields on that last fumble. You can't. It's not his fault.
And Brandon, and look, and what he's even saying, he's a Fields guy. He's not trying to throw shade, but has it been his fault? Let's look at the Tampa game.
You know what?
The interception deep in our own territory was a blind throw by design, right? If you look at some of his other picks, they've been by design picks. If you think about it, timing routes where a receiver wasn't where they were supposed to be. I mean, he hasn't. If I look at Fields and the balls that he actually got picked off, and I look at Dobbs in Minnesota and the balls that should be picked off that aren't, Fields looks like an MVP comparatively speaking. And the one last thing on Darnell Wright, and I feel so bad for the kid. Not only did he give up the sack, then he kicks the ball in the end zone and gives him the safety.
And he missed it.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Yeah, but 2's better than 7.
Right.
But I mean,
and excuse me for this, Ken, but when I'm listening to this stuff about Fields, it almost reminds me of a similar situation with Sandy with the Chargers. Like they're in a bad spot and people are putting so much blame on Justin Herbert as if he's the main guy at fault for the way things are going with the Chargers, and I don't see it that way. Just like I don't see it with Fields being at fault for where the Bears are.
Yeah, because Fields makes some throws that are just.
Chargers aren't talking about drafting a quarterback like we are. Justin Herbert is their answer. They have Keenan Allen. You got to think Mike Williams out for the year. They have Keenan Allen that's their star wide receiver. Justin Herbert is their quarterback.
Eckler is really good.
Let me ask you a question. I'll start with Bear Down Mike on this question. Is it painfully obvious right now who the number one pick in the draft for the Chicago Bears is going to be?
It's still up in the air. I don't know. I think we stick with Fields. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the number one pick.
Woody, what about you?
What's that? What's the question? I'm too worked up.
Bears first pick.
Who
are the Bears taking first?
Oh, we're taking Marvin Harrison Jr.
Dan, what do you think?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mike, what do you think?
Our first move is a trade, but yes, I'm with them.
A-Dub?
Yeah, I'm already convinced that's who the Bears are getting. Marvin Harrison Jr. without question.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
if
our answer right there, Brandon.
but yeah, I was gonna say unless the Bears wanted to follow up on what they did last year, and try to get a big haul for that first round pick, then it's a lot that they get Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think we trade the Carolina pick, which is definitely probably going to be in the top 3. We'll probably be in the 5 area, my guess, but I think we trade it.
I think we keep Carolina's pick and trade ours because
Carolina's pick's worth way more than ours.
Yeah, but here's the thing,
still,
Mike.
I can see New York Giants wanting to take our number one pick.
If we want Marvin Harrison Jr., we might have to keep the number one pick.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of – you got to think. We don't know with Arizona how Kyler Murray's going to – they might move on for him. Tennessee, Will Levis, is it their next franchise quarterback? So the teams that trade up with us might not want that quarterback. They want that Marvin Harrison Jr.
So I think obviously there's still a lot of football and that orders can get jumbled. I think, though, if we have the number one pick, it depends where we sit. If we're at 1 and 5 and we can trade out from 1 to 3 maybe, because it's a quarterback thing for 1 and 2, and we know we can get Marvin Harrison Jr. still, then I agree, Mike. We get a haul. Otherwise, I'm on with Woody on this. I think if we feel that Marvin Harrison's gone by the second pick, that we're spending the first pick on Marvin Harrison and maybe using our second pick in the first round to go back, and I think we're going to draft a center.
True, but you can recall all of us being wrong last year, so we're probably going to be wrong again.
Yeah, but the only thing that's different, though, this year, I think, is that there's a clear-cut guy that you would take number one that's not a quarterback, and that the other teams that are going to be looking at the top of the draft aren't as quarterback hungry as what the draft was last year, because Woody just said it. Will Levis, Tennessee is still bad, but Will Levis is going to be their guy, it looks like. Kyler Murray, the second he came back, they win in Arizona. Yep. Let's see how he does today. If he wins today, Kyler Murray may be the guy. Okay, who are the other crappy teams that could need a quarterback right now?
Giants,
yeah.
New England. Yeah, New England.
Definitely New
Giants,
England.
Though, Danny Dimes got hurt. Are they going to move off from Danny Dimes? So they just gave $40 million a year guaranteed to, or $45 million a year because he got injured. They might not move on from him because of the injury. You might give him another.
He wasn't doing good while he was playing.
Right.
You never know about Washington, how Sam Howell's going to work out.
Yeah, but
I think he's that franchise.
Sam Howell, I think it was amazing the stat I seen. He's leading the league in passing. Holy shit. But he got sacked like 52 times this year.
But he still got up.
Well, obviously.
No,
I mean, but Washington's
Charles
looking for that Powell quarterback. You know what I mean? They just want that average quarterback.
Well,
they haven't got a Powell quarterback.
If Ron Rivera is staying in Washington, he's already said Howell's his guy. So I think some of that may depend on what head coaches are fired. But if you look around the league, the Colts, they've got their guy. He just got hurt this year. The Raiders could use a quarterback for their quarterback for their future. And I think they've got their head coach now. I love their head coach. He's he's a Raider guy. He bleeds the silver and black. But they could use a quarterback. But if you look at the teams that need a quarterback, I don't think the league is as needy as it was last year. And when you look at the options, Caleb Williams being the top one, supposedly, I think some NFL teams are going, you know what? the top tier, the quarterback class this year, these top 2 or 3, these are guys that last year would have gone in the second round.
And you never know, the pass that Derek Carr just threw, the Saints might need a quarterback too in the draft.
Yeah.
And what about the future of the Jets? Aaron's not going to be around forever. Zach Wilson ain't
but Aaron will be back next. Aaron's going to be back this year. He'll be there next year. And I think they still have hopes and dreams.
They're saying he's maybe practicing next week.
Yeah, they have that 21-day shit.
And let's think about it this way. Kirk Cousins is going to be a free agent.
See, Brandon, that is the smartest thing you said since you've been arguing with me about that Fields fumble. 100%. And I give you props for that statement because we've been saying it for the last 2 years.
Yep. And I was gonna mention, when you speak of Rodgers, another big hope for Green Bay is that the Jets finish in the same place we are, so we could host them next season. Supposedly the Jets are due to play one of the teams in the NFC North on a schedule that finishes in the same spot as they do.
Oh, they're gonna work it out some way, somehow. But they're playing the pack regardless.
That's a payday.
The Jets Packers prime time. That's gonna be a prime time game.
That's the NFL will make that a flex game. That's a payday. Oh, that is a payday game for the NFL. They want that.
Mm-hmm.
But this way, that will not be the Germany game.
Right.
No, that's early in the morning.
Yeah. Which, what's going to be interesting, though, and I don't want to get too far forward, but we need to start thinking about this one. Who's going to be the Hard Knocks team next year? We'll ponder that one. Don't ask that. You guys, that's the homework. Ponder that one for a couple weeks from now, because we're going to be talking about this in a couple weeks. Who's going to be the Hard Knocks team for next year? Otherwise, though, I know we got football games going on right now. We've gone long today because, we're Monday night and Green Bay already played. So, I guess we can probably wrap this up for the morning. I know I got to get my happy butt to Pensacola International Airport, pick up a young flyer who's flying in from Chicago. But, guys, let's have it. We're going to be on tomorrow. Mike, what time are we going to do a pregame tomorrow?
30 minutes before kickoff. So I don't want to say a specific time because it kind of hurts Woody's feelings.
Yeah, because somebody's late or doesn't show up.
Wow.
I'll be there. You didn't see the snow on the ground?
Nope, I didn't see Wednesday either. Last Wednesday, where the fuck you were,
That's
man.
because I work my ass off when there's any snow on the ground.
Hey, wait, you guys have snow? What is that?
I came out of nowhere. I woke up and I was on the ground. I was like, man.
Yep, that's snow over here.
All day, I guess.
Hey, that's like, my one buddy, and this happens every year, so I'll tell the story because it just happened again. So every year in the late fall, and he lives up in Chicago, he's like, man, I got to go winterize my motorcycles. I'm like, oh, wait, I how do you do that? And then he starts going through the process. Well, you put on the lift and you drain the fluids. I said, and then it dawns on like, wait a minute. I'm like, yeah, we don't winterize. We ride year round. And then you can imagine the expletives that fly out of his mouth towards me. But he just said, yeah, I got to winterize. Yeah, how do you do that again? And he did it again.
When you say it's cold, it may be chilly, but it's not cold.
I'll be riding my bike tomorrow. I'll be on the motorcycle tomorrow. I'm riding to Destin. So I got some stuff to do out there. But, yeah. So, hey, everyone, have a great Sunday. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving weekend. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We got 2 things tomorrow. Don't forget. We got the 2 giveaways that Mike will be posting on the page. And then we're going to be on for pregame. Go to the page, like us, follow us, win free merch. There we go. And we hope you've enjoyed the show today. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're on YouTube, wherever you watch us. That's where Mike got us originally, right? Was on YouTube. So, give us a like and follow, subscribe, give us comments. We like to hear from you. And hey, Bear Down Mike is a great example of a guy who's been watching the show for a while. We saw him every day. Comments, and he's like, hey, how about I come on? And we said, hey, why not? And here's Mike now with us, almost every week for the last 4 weeks, right? 4 or 5 weeks now, Mike? So,
Yeah.
you know, everyone enjoy football today. Enjoy the time with your families. We'll see you tomorrow. Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
All right.